Tell us when that changes. Cool. Oh, I should look at those, shouldn't I?
I want to whisper in your ear and tell you that I'm here and take you out to dance and maybe find romance. But you can't, so it's Mobtown Live. I want to see the friends I miss, or give my mom a kiss, or get my hair cut right, or just sleep through the night. But you can't, so it's Mobtown Live. Mobtown Live, we'll drink with you forever. Mobtown Live, in dark and stormy weather. Mobtown Live, what else is there to do? Well, you could get some gourds, decorative, and then take a liking to one and adopt it as a pet of your very own. But pandemic together, so put on your Wednesday best. At least the top, I guess, will take you to the moon. It's live to your bedroom. It's tonight, and it's Mobtown Live.
Mobtown Live is brought to you by one guy having to change a bunch of inputs all at once.
Welcome to Mobtown Live, everybody.
Hello. Thanks, Hachi. Thanks, Abby. I really enjoy how that song is different every time.
I do too. I also am enjoying how right now the audience can see Abby in two different screens walking back and forth around her room.
Don't pick your nose, Abby. We can see it all.
Yeah, don't take your dick out, anybody.
Your mom's watching, Michael, so perfect.
Well, I mean,
hi, Connie.
I'd be concerned if I said the opposite.
Yeah, that's true. All right, welcome to Mobtown Live, everybody. Once again, I'm Sarah.
I'm Michael.
Abby is also here, and so is Hachi.
Hello.
This week we have an exciting show because we're doing most of the things in-house. So Abby is going to be performing a musical set, which is a real treat because she's a pretty incredible musician. And we're going to be shooting the shit, chatting, doing some sage advice with Michael. And we're going to be checking in with our friends at Charm City Books, a local bookshop here in Baltimore that is awesome. So, should we make some announcements, Michael?
Yes, and can I make the one about the pig bucks? I'm excited about
Totally.
this. All right, so the first announcement is this. If you are watching on YouTube, you have the ability to comment. And internet comments, as we all know, are extremely valuable and really worth listening to. So please
They're
comment.
Michael's life passion. This is what he always envisioned doing with his life.
I love what's happening right now. Please comment. And then we will pick what we decide to be sort of unilaterally the best comment. And we're going to give you 50 pig bucks. What are pig bucks, you might ask? Well, pig bucks are a gift from Pigtown Main Street and some sponsors of some kind, I'm sure, where they give you these dollars that are good exchangeable for goods and services throughout the Pigtown corridor, including the Mobtown Ballroom. So you can come and get a drink with them. We will not give you change, but you can come and get a drink with them, or you can buy a book or a snack. So you get 50 pig bucks if you get the best comment. So try to say something appealing.
Here's a question: do you know if they could get a tattoo at that
I do not know,
place?
but if you get a tattoo with pig bucks, I will give you an extra 50 of my dollars because you got a tattoo from Mobtown Live.
Nice. Yeah, so you all should try and be funny in the comments. We're pandering, and you should too.
But before you type a comment, you must like and subscribe to be counted.
Yes, like and subscribe.
That's right.
And if there's a way to get notifications about our videos on YouTube, you should do that too.
Ring that bell.
About YouTube.
Ring that bell is what Sarah is saying.
Yeah, exactly. Also, in case you haven't been around for the past few weeks, we've switched to a sort of donation suggested cover style of things. Rather than having you all directly send money to the artists, we're collecting money through us, and 30% we keep for us to buy technical stuff, and then 70% we give to the artists and guests. This originally we wanted to not have to handle the money at all. Now we're doing this to make sure that our guests actually get paid. So yeah, this allows us to make sure it's more equitable, especially if there's two guests. Then rather than all their friends coming on and just giving them money, we can make sure that the other guest gets something too.
We're redistributing the resources. It's internet socialism.
It also allows us to
Exactly.
rapidly pivot towards a cabal if needed.
We have the makings of a cabal
So,
for sure.
So please donate enough money for us to get to the Caymans.
All right. Other things.
Shut up, Matt.
Next week is our Halloween episode. So we're going to have the return of Spooky Dead, which is the shadow puppet show that will only be about 15 minutes long. So don't worry, because it's a wonderful, wonderful show that on occasion can go on for a bit. But this will be pre-recorded and judged ahead of time. I'm very excited. It's done by my brother, Alex Sullivan. And in addition to that, we're going to have Kristen Harbison from the Maryland League of Conservation Voters come back on the show and do an Ask Me Anything style interview about the elections. So what we need from you all is send us your videos of you asking a question about the election. If you can't take a video, you can send regular questions by writing as well, but that's boring. So send us a little video.
Yeah, but
And
we'd
then we'll
rather
answer
show your
questions
goofy
live
self
next week on the show.
on the video. Do that. Send us your goofy faces.
Exactly. There's also a chance that we will be visited by a Poe historian
Ooh.
in honor of Halloween. But we're still working that out, so we will be announcing it in the next few days.
Baltimore really just squeezed all the juice that was left in Edgar Allan Poe just for years, for decades. I love it.
Yeah.
Aw.
I would say the last thing is that before we move into before we shoot the shit a little bit, but so that I don't forget, Michael, you have decided that we will give a free drink to anyone who spends $50 at Charm City Books. Is that correct?
Yeah. Listen up. Don't go to Amazon. It's a terrible place. Get toilet paper there or something, but do not buy books on Amazon. Your local bookstore can order any of those books and get them just as fast, and you'll get to pet dogs most of the time. Not right now because they're in quarantine. If you spend at least $50 at Charm City Books, we will give you a free drink at Mobtown. If you're broke and spend less than that and make your case, we'll give you a free drink at Mobtown. Basically, support these cats because without them and people like them, the world would be turned into an endless, monotonous chain of Amazon, Chipotle, Pizza Huts.
And also, if
Yeah,
you
you
just...
think it's chic, and it's not. What were you saying, Matt?
Oh, just if you haven't gone to Mobtown for socially distanced drinks anyway, I mean, you should do that. It's really safe and fun.
Totally.
Correct.
Yeah, and I was considering, how I would spend my $50 at Charm City Books today, to get my free drink from the Mobtown Ballroom. And Dolly Parton actually is coming out with a brand new book, and it is $50, so perfect. And you can order it through Charm City Books, and it's on pre-order right now. But if you pre-order it through them, then probably you'll get it right when it comes out. And it's basically her delving into like particular songs of hers that she selected and what they're about and how she wrote them, and it sounds really cool. And she was on the Late Show this week and made Stephen Colbert cry. So
A Late Show.
That's worth going and checking out.
A Late Show.
Oh, is it called A Late Show?
Yeah, they renamed it during the coronavirus because it was because it just became a guy not wearing pants in his study.
That's funny. Oh God, people are making gourd references in the chat. That's fair. That's good. That's smart.
Someone just took it back. I wonder if it was too gourdy and they had to redact
it. So your missions are to send us videos of you asking a question about the election for Kristen Harbison, like and subscribe to our page, give us $10 if you have it, and post some cool comments. And next week we will announce who won the pig bucks.
What an exciting time to be alive.
It is an exciting time. Michael, did you have a good week?
I did have a good week, and I'm just gonna say, like, since this is basically turning into talk radio until our guest can show up, all I want to do is talk about Jeffrey Toobin and his penis.
Yes.
I'm sure your mom would really enjoy this conversation.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mom, but it's just what's happening in the world right now, and
it's topical.
It's not that Donald Trump is not responsible for it. In front of the entire New Yorker staff and some other organization, took it out. Doesn't seem like it was intentional. Doesn't seem like it was malicious, but it was still out. And
wait,
how
can you
do you deal
backtrack
with
a little
that?
bit? Who is this guy and what was he doing?
He's a writer for the New Yorker and a big shot on CNN. He's a political guy. He knows about political things. And apparently they were staging some kind of a mock election thing where they were playing different roles. It's very confusing what was actually going on, and they might have just been like cosplaying, which I'm sure the staff in New Yorker does. But he apparently took out his penis and dealt with it, thinking that he was not on Zoom. And there's so many questions involved. Why was he doing this in this room? Did he think that the camera was off? Why would not go farther away? But also like the blurring line between, like, I'm in my book room. This is my sanctum. And I'm blasting it to, a couple dozen people on the internet. It's not right. And it's not what my job should be. I like to keep the people in the ballroom, right? In the zoo. And then I go visit them, throw them bananas, and come back home to be here in peace.
Michael, I think we have a graphic, right? We have a graphic?
What kind of graphic?
I think that's a joke.
That's good enough.
Oh God.
Yeah,
I like that both of us just leaned into our cameras like barbarians who don't know how to be on Zoom. Like the little box isn't big enough for me to see.
But seriously, on the one hand, it's tragic. It's like people were exposed to unwilling exposed to a penis, which is very traumatizing. On the other hand, it's like we live in a world where one's genitals of whatever kind are not safe in your own home because of the internet. It's a travesty.
Soon they're not going to be safe in your own pants. Someone's going to have a webcam in there and be like, "How dare you have a penis?" These lefty blah blah. Sorry, I'm just kidding. So before we go to our guests, I want to say I advertised that a kids thing would be on tonight. Here's the deal.
Whoops.
Months ago,
Yeah.
I spent like 20 hours interviewing children about the coronavirus. The problem is that this was when I first learned how to use Zoom. So half the video is me because I didn't realize that it was recording whoever was talking, and children, rightfully so, don't always know how to speak such that the Zoom camera switches. So I sat down to try and edit it for this week, and yeah, basically it didn't work. So I'm going to be working on the Zoom thing. Emily and Amaya, who both of you came here to see Sayla on there, I'm very sorry, but soon we will do it. With that, should we go to our guests?
I think we should.
Why don't you go for it, Michael?
All right, so we're going to present the illustrious pair. Oh, yeah, they're sideways. Of course, you're sideways.
Who's sideways?
We have Joe is Daven and Joe from Charm City Books in Pigtown, our very own book jockeys. How you doing, book jockeys?
Sorry, I forgot to turn my camera on. We're good. We're in
Typical.
different parts of the house.
We're quarantined from one another.
Yeah, tell us about that. You closed the shop and are quarantined from the public as well as each other, and your dogs have taken sides.
Sure.
Why is this happening to us?
Yeah, it's awful, isn't it? Because there is no God anymore. Like Nietzsche said, God is dead.
Can you give me some more detail on that?
I don't know what more. I don't know. Nobody. I don't know who killed God, man.
Y'all got
it was
exposed,
Antifa,
right?
Michael. It was Antifa.
Oh my God.
Okay, it was Antifa.
Oh.
Davin's gonna be mad because I'm being irreverent. Sorry, go ahead, baby.
I'm trying to goose your ratings here. You know, it's very important. These days. So, why are you in lockdown aside from God's death?
Okay, yeah.
So Joe met a repairman at our house on Friday.
Not as sexual as it sounds.
He then reported back to us on Sunday that I'm looking at the wrong thing, that he was COVID positive. So we immediately went and got rapid tests and had a second longer test sent out. Both have come back negative, so that's great. But we decided, because of multiple reasons, that we wanted to close the store and just have our staff get tested. None of them were direct contacts with either Joe or I, but we did pass through the store, and we just want to give the store some time to air out. And also it would be kind of just a logistical nightmare for us to try to run it with two people we just brought on who don't know everything yet. And so, yeah, and
we talked to an epidemiologist who was basically like, okay, here's how you should proceed. This is the way this thing is working. This is the timeline. And so if you follow these steps and things are clear, you should be all good to go. So that's what we're doing. And we're making sure that we're safe. Our people are safe. We're paying our people. We just want to make sure we're doing what we can to protect our community. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're taking care of your folks even though they're not working. That's wonderful.
Yeah, good job.
Yep.
These
Even
kind
though
of people.
he's getting treats, even though he's not working.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I would hope that lots of people buy lots of stuff this week to make sure that you make up for whatever you lost.
It's really easy to do, Sarah. You just go to www.charmcitybooks.com.
It's actually at the bottom of everyone's screen right now. So
oh my
perfect.
God!
Oh my God, it is!
Everybody point down.
Technology. I'll point
Um,
this. Oh, no.
And we got a great new Pay It Forward about that we're doing with a local elementary school. This community school resource coordinator hit us up because they knew about this Pay It Forward thing we always do, where we help put cool books in classroom libraries or right into the hands of students. Or, we did care packages in the past. So there's this really awesome library story book parade that Harford Heights Elementary, is it Harford Heights, baby?
Yeah.
That their elementary school is doing, and they want to they're doing like this socially distanced kind of parade through, and they want to give every kid a book that comes through, a new book. So they asked us, like, could we commit to doing anything? And we said, well, hell, we'll try to get you 100 books. So folks can go to our website. It's right at the top of the website, has information about the school, what's important to them, what they're doing that's really valuable. And you can buy a book. We'll get them the book to them, and you'll know that you did something awesome for a cool little kid at a local Baltimore school, man.
Heck
And
yeah.
well,
That's great.
That's wonderful. So can you now that we've sort of told the people how they can support you, let's tell them why they should support you. Can you give us a quick rundown on why you opened a bookstore in this climate, and why you did it in Pigtown, and who you are, and why I should not run from you in terror?
don't run from us in terror.
Give us the elevator pitch.
So we opened the bookstore because Joe and I, as you all know, have a performance background and a teacher background. And we have always, since we met, talked about creating a space where we could skill share and hold workshops and community events. And so that merged with the idea of a bookstore. We're both readers. I was an English Lit major. And as many people, maybe not all know, indie bookstores are really well known for being community anchors. And so this idea to bring those two things together came about. And then my family lives in Baltimore and has made their roots here. So we wanted to be close to family. And we kind of happened upon Pigtown when we were poking around looking at neighborhoods, and a lot of people were pointing us to Pigtown. And then I talked to Kim at Main Street, and she was super enthusiastic and said that they had done a poll of the neighborhood of the top 3 things that we wanted in Pigtown, and that was a bookstore, I think a grocery store, and a coffee shop. So we got 2 of those now.
Yeah,
We're still
it's
working on
almost-
that almost.
Culinary architecture is like bordering on.
That's
a grocery
right.
Store.
It is. It's a nice little grocery
You
mart.
can get meat, fresh fruit and veggies, fresh greens, eggs, cheeses, sauces, chutney. What's up?
Just keep going. So yeah, so we picked Pigtown, and we are so grateful that we did. It's awesome. I mean, I don't know how long. Do you want me to get really passionate and wax poetically about how much I love Pigtown? But we just love our street, and we love the energy and the community sense and how welcoming everyone's been. And I really feel like we lucked out for a lot of reasons, ending up where we were.
Now, are you one of those people that's saying that they need to change the name of the town because pig is just, too uncouth?
No.
I know. Come on.
I've heard
we got
there's a
we got
growing
bigger-
minority.
That
I
was a
think it's
while
some
back, and those were some yuppie,
vocal
obnoxious
white people.
weasels. Yeah.
Who were like,
translucent.
Washington Village, please, because I'd rather live in, some
We
weird...
should be named after something that everything is named after.
Yeah.
There's not enough things named Washington.
And could we put a big gate around it?
Yeah.
Because I don't really like that there are people here. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and so we are a bookstore and a community event space, and we're really sad because we're a community event space that can't have events for our community. And
Well, I hear you.
We used to do. What'd you say?
I'm with you there. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, I know, brother. We love you guys. And we used to do 20 a month, and we used to do movie and puzzle nights, and it's a small space, and it was cool how people packed in, and total strangers and not just from Pigtown, it brought people from Fed Hill and Mount Washington and Union Square and all these different areas. Folks were coming in to come check out these little like quirky things we were doing, and we were servicing like local authors, independent authors, giving them a space to put on a launch and bring their people in and celebrate. So we're two people that just, I think, radically love community and people and arts and literature, and believe that goodness begets more goodness. And the more you can put that out into the world, you can do your little part to start echoing that out further and further. And and we got really good books too.
Let me ask you this question. Like, what I like about what you just said is that books are not a product in the way that, say, chutney is a product. Where I go get me some chutney, and honestly, the less interaction I have in that process, the better. Like, that's between me and my God.
Are you shame buying chutney?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a weird time.
You just want to have to chat about it.
Whole flats of chutney.
Books have always existed in context of conversation and physical culture, as well as bookstores having events and things all the time. Whenever I am on the internet talking about the books, and I talk about books on the internet a lot, some fucking guy, it's always a guy, who is like lives in an apartment with nothing on the walls. It's just like carpet and white paint, and is jacked into his computer all the time. And I know this, even though I've never seen his place. I know this is what it is. That guy gets on, he's like, oh, you can get that on Amazon or on an e-reader or whatever. Can you say what you would say to that person so that I don't have to say what I would say, which is not allowed?
What did they say exactly about you can get that on Amazon?
You can get the book on Amazon.
They're saying like
suckers, why would you go to a bookstore?
Like, we can all live on the internet. Why bother with a bookstore?
Why
It's profoundly stupid.
I think
other than be an internet troll.
Maybe haven't seen 1984.
We're talking about that later.
I mean,
or read 1984.
Yeah,
I mean, I've only seen the Apple commercial and then recently the Fortnite commercial. So, but I think that those both provide still an adequate level of context.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing how, like, even it's amazing to me how little people know about how terrible Amazon is. Like, even small business owners, I was scrolling Instagram the other day on Prime Day, and so some of the small makers that I follow were posting about, they're like, yeah, I buy everything from Amazon, but get your art from me. And I was just like, oh my God. But it's quite terrible. I mean, not only is it like ethically, they just treat their employees like total garbage, but they're just like destroying communities. They don't pay taxes. We know this. They don't hold community events. None of the money that they're making goes back into the community that they're taking it from. They don't, excuse me. They're the worst. So yeah, I understand your rage response. It's hard.
And I also tell the guy that, you're not going to get any free shit from Amazon. We're always putting like a free bookmark or a magnet or sometimes a free book. Like, I can't tell you
slip
how
another
many
book
times,
in that book.
Yeah, I just slip a book in your book, and now you got two books. Okay, and even if it's not a good book, you're like, you just got something for free. And it's just like, it's that sense of also feeling cared for. Like, we are honestly so grateful. And that that like if you buy a book from us, you have a friend in us. You know what I mean? And you can. And if what you want to do in life is get everything on the cheap, then you should go to Amazon. If you care about the fact that your dollar is also a choice in terms of the health of the place where you live, and in the terms of like its overall economic well-being, and moving towards a more economically equitable society in general, then you're going to shop local and you're going to support small. If you don't care about those things, there's nothing that anybody can really say other than, well, Amazon's never going to give you a free bookmark or magnet, okay, and a sweet note.
Or a
Handwritten.
handwritten note. All right.
Yeah.
Also, you
And
can't complain
Amazon
about
doesn't have shop dogs either. You know what I mean? We got people
Oh.
that buy, you know, and we got plenty. Here's Lou. Come here, Louie. And we got, you know, people just come by the bookstore. Oh, sorry, man. Dogs. Oh, just little puppy. He's very sensitive about his stomach.
As much as I'm super stoked about all of your free stuff, I also, you know, I'm curious what you think about what it does to our souls to not go into bookstores. And then, like, on the short term, like individually, but then what happens if all the bookstores are gone and Amazon is what we have?
Yeah, I mean, they can control what is available to read, or, you know, at what, you know, and they'll sell you anything. You know, Amazon doesn't care. Bezos probably thinks he's a liberal. You know what I mean? He wants to go to Mars. You know, and it's fine. And I want to say this too. I want to say that Amazon, in some ways, fulfills some needs for people because of economic inequality, right? They provide some things that become accessible to people who may not be able to get those things otherwise. And that speaks to a larger problem. You know, however, if bookstores go away, you know, magic starts to leave the earth, I think. When you walk into our shop, you can feel the magic that is in the air. I mean, it feels special to be there. And bookstores have that. And if you want to kill magic from the planet, and be accountable for that, then you can do that.
I mean, it's already started happening where Amazon has unique access to certain titles that not even the big, I think it's like the big 5 publishers can get a hold of, or they will buy up all of the current stock of a title so that nobody else can get a hold of it. So you can already see and feel those things happening, where they are taking sort of this information, this, you know, these books and hoarding them and keeping them for themselves. And it's troubling to think of, you know, what would happen if they were the only ones and they could pick and choose what they decided to, you know, push based on.
How is that different than publishers?
Well, I think that there's diversity in books because there's a diversity of publishers. I mean, even more and more, you see a lot of small indie press all over the place, and, you know, even in Baltimore, we have a ton of them, and that just ensures that there's more diverse voices. Whereas Amazon, if it's the same with any, you know, any big
like a monopoly.
Yeah.
Thing, yeah.
Yeah. Speaks trouble.
You know, and it's like it's a local ecosystem. You know, I mean, in Pigtown, I spend most of my money at the other places in Big Town. And so the way that the dollar goes through and multiplies its value inside of the community, as opposed to just going to the dragon's hoard of Lord Bezos, you know what I mean? So you know, it's like people who talk about too, it's like, you know, oh, fuck big government, man, like, oh, get out of my life, man. But you want to be a corporation to kind of rule you in another way. And so if we want to really be independent and self-sustaining communities and ecosystems, we have to do that economically too. And so we have to spend inside with one another and support locally. And we do that in other ways, you know, not just with local authors, and not just by supporting, you know, a wide array of voices and emphasizing voices of BIPOC writers, right, and women writers, but in also local makers, right, and bringing that into our shop so that we're buying wholesale from local makers, right, and now that's coming into our store, and now you're buying that, and so it you know, again, goodness begets goodness. Supporting local supports more supporting local. Now your school is going to be a little bit better, and your kid who goes to school in Pigtown is going to have a little bit better of an education, maybe. You know what I mean?
I sort of want to know, Daven, like what was your first date with Joe like? Was it like this? Was it like like sort of like the hard sell. The if you don't do this, you are accountable for the destruction of local neighborhoods.
Yeah, no, he totally saved all of his radical ideas for like date 2 or 3, and I was like, oh, no.
That's
Here we
tasteful.
Date one, I'll tell you, date
Oh.
one, we went ice skating at the Sculpture Garden in DC, and I was there early.
Boom.
And I had rented the skates and bought us 2 ciders, and I let her win a ice skating race too. I let her win.
Fair and square. I was a figure skater. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, and
But I
that
will
was
say
our first date.
There's something that also people don't really know about Amazon and their book selling is that they sell books as what's called a loss leader, which basically means that they sell it either at cost or less than cost. So, and they take a loss on every book they sell so that they think like you will go and buy others. Can I curse on here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'll buy
Okay, sure.
you'll buy other shit because that's like, your impulse buying on Amazon. You click one thing and 5 other things come up. So it really like, this is just my own sort of ethos. Like, I just feel like the devaluing of like literature in general and information and the things that lead us to become more intelligent, more self-aware, more informed. I just find it super disgusting.
Well, they're also then using literature to like hook you deeper into capitalist ideals. Yeah.
That segues nicely into my next question, which is sort of an ideal version of literary citizenship, right? I have a friend who's the most bookish person I know, and he loves the idea of libraries, would never go in one.
No.
He supports their existence because he feels that he's going to buy as many books as he can before he dies to support publishers and authors and whatnot. And I actually kind of have a similar vibe. I don't necessarily keep all the books that I buy, but I feel like I should buy them and then let them drift out about, to people who might otherwise not. Is that reasonable? Am I the same person? Let's talk about me.
No.
Yeah.
Great question,
Is it
Michael.
reasonable for you to buy books from people?
What I'm saying is that I think a lot of like our fellow lefties get super confused and they equate virtue with things like, oh, I'm reusing this. And it's like, there's some things you don't necessarily want to reuse, like music. You want to pay for it each time if possible. Right. Same thing I feel with books.
Yeah, I think one of the things is like reframing the idea of what a book is and like the idea of it just being something that you just consume and then you're like, oh, now I have this trash. It's like, especially
kindling
but I feel like people, I've met so many people who are like, well, I don't buy, I just go to the library. Like when I try to approach them, it's like, well, there are so many ways in which your purchase at an indie bookstore at the very least is an investment in your community. And also you are supporting an artist, you're supporting an author, they're not making money off of you renting the book. And I love libraries. Don't get me wrong. I also rent books from the library. But it's like reframing and changing the way you look at it as you are purchasing something that is helping like a branch of people. And then, there's so many ways that you can give that book to someone else to read. Like, and here in Baltimore itself, there's so many places you can donate your book or a little library you can put it in and someone will pick it up and I guarantee you someone will enjoy it. You can take it back to the bookstore. Some bookstores take it back for credit or they'll just take it back and they'll do it. Like, honestly, if people bring us books, we most of the time just give them away to people who come to the store and like clearly don't have the money to purchase a book. We'll just give them some of the books that people have brought to us. So it's like, just reframing what, it's not just a consumable. It's like, it's an investment.
Yeah. If you are a well-heeled person, like there's less virtue in going to the library. You should be buying books. And then I wish for libraries to exist. Absolutely. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I imagine some of it has to do with the internet again, in the sense that like back before we had the internet, you would build your own library in your house, whether it was for reference or for like literary history or like just whatever. And then you could refer to those books when what was left up in here wasn't cutting it.
Yeah.
And now
I don't know what you're talking about. What's that?
And now we have the internet and people are like, oh, well, I don't need to retain that information because I can go on the internet. Which is funny because I feel like part of the benefit of the internet is like, oh, well, if someone burns down all our libraries and churches and synagogues or whatever, then it's all still on the internet. But the problem is that if we replace our brains with the internet, then, you know, all that shit gets burned down and we don't know anything. And so I imagine that there's an element too of people being like, why would I keep a book in my house? I have a computer.
Yeah.
And you know,
And
that's
access to the internet might not always be completely free and unrestrained, right? Like that might not be the reality we live in forever. And we also already, you know, of course there's like the dark net, and that's a horrible rabbit hole of a place. And you know, and when you have a book, and even if you don't want to read the whole thing, you can go and you pick it up, and there's something about it, right? It's that sense of magic. It's a tome of sorts, and it holds this history and this value. Also, maybe your memory of when you read the book, where you were at in your life when you read that book. And I'll tell you what, too, you know, there's this great meme going around like about the Amazon and not going to Amazon, whatever. You know, you're never going to find that next great book from an algorithm, really, right? They're just doing the one that is selling. When you go to a bookstore, that bookseller might be able to. We got this new bookseller, and he is in a living encyclopedia of it. What's that stall I'm having? Oh, okay.
We're supposed to stall.
He said the quiet part out loud. But yeah, you know, it's like we got this new guy, and he is just a treasure trove of book recommendations for people. Things you may have never heard of. And when we were getting his references, people were saying, like, so many of them said he recommended a book to me that had a major impact on my life. And you're not going to get that from an algorithm. You know, so, and in an age where I don't know, I just feel like, especially, I mean, we're on Zoom right now and we're quarantined, but I mean, how much do we just want simple human connection and to relate over a story, you know? It's so primal, and it's so essential to the very fabric of our nature. Yeah.
And being able to hold it feels so good. Like,
yeah.
And especially right now. Yeah.
So exciting. There's nothing more exciting to me than like finding when someone comes in and asks for a recommendation and you like hand them a book, like, oh my God, I can't wait to read this. And you're like, I can't wait for you to read this. Then you can come back and we can talk about how awesome it was. It's like the best gift in the world. It really is. That's it.
I agree.
Michael, do you have more questions?
No, man.
Do you want some book recs? We have some book recs.
Well,
yeah, totally.
That was the last thing I think I wanted to say, like, for this time or for the people in general, what is in your heart? What do you want to give to them / sell to them?
Oh no. Okay.
You want? I'll do one first because I have a couple here, babe, and I know you have some good ones. If anybody can read the stack next to Daven, that's a bunch of the ones that I've read so far. There's a new Jimi Hendrix biography out by Philip Norman, who's written a bunch of great work on Paul McCartney and the Stones and Billy Buddy Holly, and it has a lot of access to Jimmy's brother Leon Hendrix, and I've read some of it, and it's really beautiful, and I think there's some like new kind of like a deep dive information, and it covers his life, you know, his young life and some of the trauma they had to deal with, also his time on the Chitlin circuit and all the racism there, being broke in New York in Greenwich Village, and how he meets the drummer from the Animals, and it takes him to London, and then he has 4 of the most incredible years that any human being could ever have. So if you like Jimi Hendrix, you like good rock and roll writing, like you're a Rolling Stone fan, this is a must read. And just look at that cover. Oh my God.
Very pretty.
It's very pretty, yeah.
All right, can I go?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have 2 books that I'm reading right now that I wanted to recommend, but I have to just talk about the snail book. And if anybody who's watching has been to the store, I talk about this book a lot, but it's called The Sound of a Wild Snail Eating by Elizabeth Tova Bailey. And it's really short, and it's like the best book. It's maybe now becoming one of the best books I've ever read, because I keep saying it's like the best book I read in 2019. But the truth is I just haven't found another like nature book that I love as much. So this book is about a woman and a snail, and that's the premise, and it's riveting. Okay, so you gotta read it. It's also, I think, a really great book for right now, because she in the story is kind of stuck in one place, and works her way through it with a sense of mindfulness and like appreciation for what's around her immediately. And I think it's like a very good soul food for right now, where we all feel a little bit stuck. So I'm not gonna ever stop talking about this book. It's so good.
That's awesome. I'm gonna check
Real
it out.
quick, Michael, this one is for you as a classicist. Okay.
All right.
Peter Nessie or Nisi. I'm somebody who kind of reads above their weight. You know what I mean? Like I'm not that smart. Like I'm intuitive and emotionally intelligent, whatever. I'm reading this and I really like it. It's about these two people in this like unending sea, like set of halls and vestibules. And there's all of these statues everywhere, and the sea crashes on the bottom level, and then the sky and plants live in the third, and then the second level is this like common level of man. And it's just this main character, Piranesi, and the other. And it centers around when these two albatross arrive to lay an egg in this massive set of halls and vestibules. It's written by the woman who wrote oh God, what's the name of the Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, which is an epic fantasy book. So I think you would really like this, Michael.
All right.
Oh, my turn.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you don't know, babe.
I'm getting a blinking. I don't know what it means. Okay, I'm listening to this on audiobook right now, and I'm just gonna give a short description. It's like Harry Potter for adults, because there's lots more murder. Okay. So if you're looking for some good witchy stuff,
Woohoo!
takes place in a school. It's great.
Yeah. And then Homeland Elegies by Ayad Akhtar. Are we supposed to be done, or is this backwards?
No, keep. I want to hear it.
No, it's just funny that you keep jumping in. Like I just feel like you might have 40 more books that you're gonna make sure to tell us. Keep going.
No, this is my last one.
I had one more, but I cannot do it.
No,
you're doing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, well, I love Ayad Akhtar is a Pulitzer Prize winning playwright. His writing, it crackles. I mean, he's like a younger Aaron Sorkin with more bite to his writing. And he attacks really capitalism. He wrote the play Junk, and he's Pulitzer Prize winning writer of Disgraced. And this is about post-Trump America and a father and a son attempting to have a reunion. It takes us from America to Afghanistan to the palaces of Central Europe. And he's an amazing author. I cannot wait to read this book. If you like really sharp, insightful, clever, and funny writing that just barrels along, you're going to love his writing.
Boom. Next.
Okay, last one. It's called Migrations. It's about birds. No, I like nature books. Nature books are really soothing to me right now. Oh wow, I see my face in two places. So it is about a little bit like in the not so far future, most of the critters in the world have died, and this woman goes to follow this Arctic tern, this flock of Arctic terns' last migration flight, because there's no more fish left for them to eat. So it's like, I've just started it, but so it's a little bit of social commentary, but also just this amazing story about nature and about wanderers. She joins this group of seamen on this boat, and they're all have these incredible, interesting lives and stories. And there is a secret that sort of comes about towards the end. But it's wonderful, and I feel like it's not getting enough love in the shop. I bought like so many copies of it because I think it's such a great book, and maybe I've just not been talking it up enough. But it's so good. I feel like it's so underrated. Look at this cover; it's beautiful. Okay,
That's awesome.
So, book jockeys, let's give the people one more chance to understand how they can support you right now.
So you can go to charmcitybooks.com and you can shop online. If you don't need a book right now, that's totally fine. You can buy a book for our Pay It Forward program, which is going on from now until the 29th. It is for Hartford Heights Elementary School. There's 407 students. They're trying to get 100 books for their, what is it called?
Storybook Parade.
Storybooks on Parade, which is a Halloween celebration where they'll be giving out candy and books to every student.
Aw.
So you can shop for others if you don't want to shop for yourself. There's a cool carousel you can pick out in books. They're pretty inexpensive because kids' books range from like $4 to $18. So yeah.
And we got candles, we got socks, we got t-shirts, we got tote bags. If you buy a tote bag, everything that fits in that tote bag is 20% off. What? It's a Charm City Books tote bag. We got stickers, we got magnets, we got board games, okay? We got lots of board games, we got puzzles. Oh my God, do we have puzzles? And if you buy one puzzle, you get the second puzzle for 25% off. Okay, so I could go on, and we're gonna be opening up when the shop opens up. When everything continues to come back negative, we're gonna be opening up a slightly expanded kids room on the second floor where the community event space is, where we do some of the filming. You can also support us by checking out the stuff we put online. We have virtual story times. We do really cool interviews with authors on Between Two Succulents, which is 10 to 15 minutes long. Nice short hit. And we have our Hump Day Hit book recommendations, and we have some more programming that we're going to be rolling out. So check us out on our YouTube and our Instagram, and we'll see you in the shop real soon.
Thank you so much, Book Junkies.
Thank you all so much.
Talk to you soon.
Thank you all.
Thanks,
We love
guys.
you all, man.
Thanks for
Can't wait
having
for
us,
Mobtown to
guys.
get back to.
See ya.
Y'all-
They have to hold it, like show and tell, like nervous. You're like, here's a book that I read. I do the same thing. Every book person I've ever known is like takes a book off a shelf and hands it to you, so you're gonna read the whole thing right there. Wild. It's
Pretty
wild.
awesome. I was gonna keep talking about that, but I think that probably. Oh wait, no, we can't keep talking about it. Sorry, I'm looking at too many screens. I really just wanted to ask Joe if he ever hangs out with Baynard Woods and whether or not the world imploded. And if not, can I come next time and watch?
That's
I'll
a
have
lot
to
of big-haired, crazy energy
I'll have to
going on
sleep
there.
for a few days afterwards, but it'd be fun. Anyway, our musical guest tonight is Abby Becker. Wait, before I announce Abby, Hachi, sorry. Could you show the flyer for Pigtown's Got Talent?
Sure.
This is an event that's happening in Pigtown, everyone, and you do not have to be from Pigtown or anywhere nearby to participate. That said, you had to submit videos of your talent by tonight at 5 o'clock, so obviously we're past that. But I bet that if you're like really good at something, you could convince them to review your video and you could participate yourself. People who participate get a bunch of pig bucks, so you could come and get all sorts of drinks at the ballroom, or in the event that we ever reopen, attend some events or classes or whatever. And it's going to be pre-recorded, so probably you can do it somewhat on your own time. It's going to be really fun. You should just go ahead and consider doing that. With that, our musical guest tonight is Abby Becker, who
The great Abby Becker.
is one of the four of us behind this show. And we haven't had her do a full set on Mobtown Live before, and I'm so excited about this. We didn't make a bio, which is hilarious. But basically, Abby's super good. She's had a number of bands. She also runs her own production company, and she teaches for young audiences, or has taught for young audiences. And she's all around super talented. So here we go. Here's Abby Becker, everybody.
We can't hear you at all. Can you hear me telling you that we can't hear you?
Classic.
Classic. Also, I can go upstairs and adjust things if necessary. Abby is 2 floors above me, everybody, because we live together.
And the host of the Zoom meeting tonight, whoops.
Oh yeah, she's the host.
She's the host, she's the fluffer,
Can you hear me?
she's the
Yeah, now we
in-between
can hear
talent,
you.
she's the main talent.
I can't hear you, but hold on.
We
We're
were
good, right?
continuing to talk you
Yeah.
up. It was great.
We can hear
sweet.
you.
Oh, don't stop. Don't stop.
What else have you noticed about me?
Yeah, tell me. Tell me more. I had managed to reselect my interface since I'm dealing with so many scene changes tonight. But I had forgotten to unmute myself in the proper. Anyways, I'm gonna play some music.
Woo!
Ooh, hello. That's better. As you can see by my virtuous book background, I also love books. And I went into Charm City Books and acted like a weird little fangirl, like you do. We're here when I sleep. We're here when I sleep. When I sleep, rose petals rise. We're here when you come for me. I say goodbye. When I wake, rose petals die. Thanks, friends. I didn't
Woo!
Woo!
I didn't know I was gonna play that song. Also, didn't know that I didn't quite know it. That's how it goes. Can you see my candle? And my gourds? I hope so. You know, gourds are your friends. when I was talking about a gourd as a pet, you might think I was talking about myself, but actually I was inspired by Sarah. Ooh, okay. The way that I wrote this set is the kind of the opposite of what you're supposed to do. So great. Which is trying new things that you haven't really practiced enough. And also eating pumpkin seeds. So I'm going to play a new song and who knows how it will go. Let's do it. Oh my gosh, I'm nervous. Sorry, guys. Fuck this thing. Let's do this old school. Take my fill and have my need. I don't want no friends indeed. All I want is a lucky star and you to come in the getaway car. Every night I go to bed, I pray I will wake up dead. Tin can Cadillac, I don't think twice, long as it's you in the passenger side. When I wake and close my eyes, Mr. Luck, Master Disguise, let go of you as I go of the night, wondering why there's so many lies. I am yours and you're not mine. Take my hand, I'll not try. You know I drive every night. Come on, babe, what's one more ride?
Sorry, I couldn't help it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really weird to be like, here I am, looking at my bed.
How weird was it when I ran in to just your sound?
I was like, please stay.
That was so good, Abby.
Oh, thank you. That song was about driving and nothing else. No. So I am gonna play a song I wrote quite a long time ago, about for a friend who she lost her father, as I have, and not in the like, oh, where did they go, but like the dead kind of way. And I didn't know what to say to her, and so I wrote the song. shout to the streets, can't you see that everything has changed? Cry, pretty, oh, cry, my pretty, oh, pretty, oh, pretty, oh, my pretty, oh, my, you were never so pretty as you were tonight. Well, everything comes and everyone goes and everyone says, but nobody knows. The horns start to cheer as the second line plays and the light falls in the rain. Cry, pretty, oh, cry, my pretty, oh, pretty, oh, pretty, oh, my pretty, oh, my, you were never so pretty as you were tonight. You were never so pretty as you were tonight. All right,
You got me in here crying in the basement, Abby.
I'm gonna do one more song. Can you believe I was like, I cut a song because I was like, that's too sad. But sad songs are the best,
People came here to feel things.
as promised.
Ooh, maybe
Yeah,
we should tell Allison to put that on our posters. That they'll feel things.
And it's like you get to do it in the privacy of your own home.
That's where all feelings should be felt.
Yeah. So since we're talking about existential dread tonight, I'm gonna play a cover of a great song by a great artist who's probably not always the easiest person to work with, so I have heard. David Byrne, Talking Heads, but I'm a big fan, and this song's called Heaven. It's my last one. Here we go. Everyone is trying to get to the bar. The name of the bar is called Heaven. There's a band in heaven, they play my favorite songs. Play it one more time. Play it all night long. Heaven is a place where nothing ever happens. Heaven is the place, a place where nothing ever happens. Nothing ever happens. Heaven. Heaven is a place where nothing ever happens. When this kiss is over, it will start again. It will not be any different. It'll be exactly the same. It's hard to imagine that nothing at all could be so exciting, could be this much fun. Oh, heaven is a place where nothing ever happens. Oh, heaven is a place where nothing ever happens. Thanks so much, Mobtown.
Woo!
Thank you, Abby. That was amazing.
Hello.
Thanks so much, Abby.
You've been chopping onions, Sarah?
No, and I also haven't actually been crying. I just teared up a tiny bit. But I was gonna ask Abby where people can go to hear her music and support her. But I think she's packing up. So what I would say, everybody, is look up Corazon, Cora space Sone. That is her band. Or you can just look up Abby Becker, and a bunch of her music's online, and it's awesome.
Abby's shit is good.
Yeah. All right. So before we do our closing announcements, I think we should do Sage and Sage. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a hot one, and we're gonna have to take a whirlwind tour. And this question, I think, actually will resonate with all of the people, including myself. And
Oh,
you,
wait,
Sarah.
hold, Michael, wait. Oh, shit. Here, slow down.
Oh God.
Sage and Sage.
Oh, there we go. Cool.
There it is. Thank you. I don't know what that is.
I like that jingle.
Oh, thanks. I've been really working on that for the last
Perfect.
3 seconds.
Nice.
Yeah, Michael was about to be really sad that he didn't have his border.
I'll make sure it's, well, here, wait, let's get it sized up properly.
Oh,
there we go.
So, Michael, tell us, or tell me, what's the question this week?
Well, I'm going to read it to you, Sarah. I pulled it up. Now I'm not looking at myself, so I might pick my nose, and if I do, forgive me.
I'll tell you. Don't worry.
Just scream. All right. So this one comes from a voyeur of the void. Dear Sage and Sage, when I wake up in the morning, the idea of seizing the day gives me a sense of existential dread. I don't feel like doing anything, but more so, I don't want to figure out what to do. I would have this feeling before 2020, but the pandemic has definitely magnified it. When I try to think about meaningful ways to spend my time, like registering voters or planting trees or whatever, I get totally overwhelmed, and then I pretty much have a drink instead. A whole day or more will go by, and I haven't left the house. I feel like my friends are sick of my shit. Where can I find my sense of purpose that isn't a soul-sucking job or a child I don't have or a relationship I'm not in right now? What's between cutting yourself some slack and doing absolutely nothing? When is this shit going to turn into art? Boom.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Just to read that question, which really is kind of the question. So I thought I would start, as is my wont to do, with the Bible.
Perfect.
So the existential questions like this are just as old as dirt. And for those of you who haven't read the Bible, you need to, and you need to read the book of Ecclesiastes because it is a real stone cold bummer. It contains in the very first chapter, which is a doozy on its own, the famous phrase, "Vanity of vanities, saith the preacher, vanity of vanities, all is vanity." And then it continues along these lines, "All things are full of labor, man cannot utter it, the eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor are the ears filled with hearing," right? And it seems to be the case that the writer of the book of Ecclesiastes was having just such a situation where supposedly King Solomon, but not likely to be the case, you accomplish things, you do things in life, and then you look around and you go, well, I did that shit. Is there some other shit? Right? And this has been a question for the ages. All right. And I feel like there's a number of ways that people have tried to address it. One of the first ones being through religion. And St. Augustine, there's his book right there, St. Augustine, all right, discussed this. And he was talking about God. And he said something I found very interesting in this context. At the very beginning of his book, The Confessions, he says that our hearts are restless until they rest in you, referring to God, right? And the entire book itself is sort of a meditation on a man who is restless and searching for truth or some kind of meaning. And the premise is that you do not find it until you find it in God. And I'm not advocating that right now, but
Am I allowed to ask questions about this as we go?
yes.
If this will derail the entire thing, then I'll be like, no. But like, what if you give your heart to God and then you still feel restless? Would those people tell me that it's because I haven't actually given my heart to God? Or
that would be some contemporary Christian bullshit.
Okay, cool. I've been tarnished
shameful.
by the contemporary stuff. Never mind.
So I think that what's interesting to think about this is that one of the answers to this question is that you are feeling this because there is an answer, right? God or whatever that's out there. And when you find it, this feeling will be resolved or will have a track to move through, that kind of thing. Notably, and this goes to your question, Sarah, some of the sort of Christian mystic types had a discussion of what they called the soul's dark night, which was a period of intense angst and horror and a feeling of distance from God and the divine. That
I mean, who knows what that is?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. And that part of your life on Earth was almost like a test. You had to go through this. Even after you had, you were saved or whatever. I mean, these people had a much more nuanced view of what religion was than the current crop of Christians. But I think that's it's interesting. It's interesting to think that way back in the sands of time, people were asking the same question. They're waking up and going, "What the fuck am I, and where am I?" And it got tricky. We're going to shoot way forward, and we're going to talk about my boy Voltaire, a wonderful, wonderful character, French dude. Wrote a book called Candide. Yeah. What's up, Voltaire?
Voltaire?
Wrote a book called Candide, which is another attempt to sort of tangle with this question. And that Candide, the titular character, goes through and meets all these other characters who have a bunch of philosophies. And this book is wildly funny and ridiculous. And it really exposes the way that it attempts to answer the question of why are we unhappy, right? Each of them ends up bumping up against absurdity, right? Famously, he bros down with a guy named Pangloss, whose philosophy was current at the time that we're living in the best of all possible worlds, right? You just don't quite understand that, and you should be happy with it. Congratulations. And they're on a battlefield, and there's like dead body parts everywhere, and he's like, I don't think this is quite right. And he goes through the cycle again and again of a bunch of engaging with and being passionate about a bunch of different philosophies until ultimately he burns through them all, realizes, fuck, there's not really an answer. And the famous phrase, he's going to tend his own garden, cultivate his own garden. He's going to pay attention to his shit, steer clear of the broader questions of the world and the madness surrounding him. And that'll be good, right? I don't know if that's satisfying to people, but that's one answer.
I mean, what do you think about it? I'm curious.
Well, I think that that if me and my fellow lefties are trapped between a sort of therapeutic and pharmaceutical view of pain, and I should not be talking about therapy because I got
Therapy gate.
Let me say the following things first. like chemical mental illness or depression, all these things are very real. They are real things. I have had and have. Don't worry about it. I'm on the team. Okay. That said, there is an extent to which viewing the world entirely through a pharmaceutical lens
or like diagnoses, as though there's like something that's wrong with you that needs to be switched.
You're not unhappy because you're broke as shit and your entire life is kind of fucked. You're happy. You're unhappy because your brain is out of balance. It's sort of, I hate to use this word,
is this capitalism or mental illness?
Yeah.
Who are we speaking to? Are we speaking to what do you call it on Dear Abby? Are we speaking to writer? Do you think they have some mental health things they need to take?
No.
Michael and I are just musing about how the mental illness is a legitimate thing, but there's many questions in life that people have been grappling with through the ages, and it's not because something's wrong that needs to be fixed. It's because we're grappling with it, right?
Sure. But what I was saying is I think we're trapped between this view where we should be fixed on the one hand, and on the other, we need to be passionate about justice, right? There's these two conflicting visions where like you need to be out there marching, and you also need to medicate yourself so you're happy about being out there marching. And there's an absurdity involved in that. Like, if we were all happy, we wouldn't have to march.
Let's get back to dude guy though, or dude guy lady.
Voltaire or
Voltaire,
our writer. I'm not sure that this advice is helping them. You could tell them to get their head checked.
No. We're taking the long way around, Hachi.
Oh, we're still on the road.
You gotta have faith.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, this doesn't come easy, bro.
I thought we were
Get your
there.
head checked. He's saying it's legit to get your head checked, but maybe there's something else, and Voltaire has some thoughts on it.
I'm saying that people have tried to answer this question multiple different ways. They've projected it out into the cosmos.
You told them to start a garden.
They said deal with your own shit and just let the world burn, right? Which is, I think, tempting for some of us right now. There's been an actual philosophy surrounding that feeling that this writer is presenting, called existentialism, which is essentially saying that you live in an inexplicable, chaotic world, and it's beautiful in one sense because humans are generating the meaning, right? And it's horrifying in another is there's nobody watching. There's no external truth and justice.
There's nobody watching.
Things.
Another thing we should put on a Mobtown Live poster. Sorry.
I can literally feel the views just shrinking. Talking about existentialism. I think that like existentialism has a lot to offer. There's Christian existentialism. There's all kinds of versions, and it can be looked into. Realistically, for this viewer, like, we are living in an absurd time that is so fucking bizarre. Pandemic, Donald Trump, murder hornets, Republicans in general, like cats exploding in the street willy-nilly. All this stuff is happening. That it's a mark of mental sort of acuity that you feel wrong about it. It is wrong. Or at least it's not conducive to one's sort of well-being. These words are terrible. I'm going to bring up one more author real fast that I think this is a hackneyed thing to talk about, but I think it's got some power behind it. George Orwell in 1984. This book right here.
Boom.
He wrote that book, and it's not about fascism, and it's not about right-wing nonsense, which I think a lot of people on the left assume. It's about, the risks of that, but we're great. It's actually about what he perceived as potential pitfalls of the left if it went the wrong way. And he talked about how in this sort of dystopia, you get bombarded with contradictory information that you are required to pretend is coherent over and over and over, right? And that the feeling a person has, in some ways the feeling that this writer has of the world not matching up is something that evil people in the world want you to get over, right? They want you to go, no, it's okay. Like, I've found peace. And the truth is that
just keep scrolling.
It's an appropriate response. And one of the metaphors that's used in this book that I've loved since I read it was that one of the more pesky characters, is witnessing some totalitarianism nonsense, and it says that she snorted like a horse sniffing bad hay. Like, what a healthy idea! Just like ridiculous.
Mm.
And the idea that a person who's fully free and engaged, you're going to have these existentialist disasters, these feelings of.
Abby, I can hear you coughing.
Is that Abby?
Sorry.
Sarah, go help Abby.
Coronavirus.
Sorry.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's so good.
We use
Sorry,
the
continue,
advanced
Michael.
audio routing system here called all mics hot all the time.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's my feeling. I mean, when I read the stuff about people tangle with these things, I think that it's a process, right? And that that people have to cut themselves some slack, as this person suggested. In like you wake up every day and you look at a world that is inconceivably beyond your power to change it or do anything in it. No matter what you learned in elementary school, you are tiny. There's billions of us, and you have to navigate it, and you have to do right by your community and the people that are next to you. And you're going to fail, and you're never going to know if there's actually a point to it all, and that human interaction and love and connection, God help me, are just the only things that have been consistent throughout as explanations for why we keep waking up.
Aw.
It's really good, Michael. Also, it's something just clicked for me, and I think you and I have talked about it a lot of times, and maybe I didn't realize I was talking about it. Like, I guess one of the many pitfalls of the self-help world is to like convince you that you have control over these situations, such that rather than overthrowing the evils that exist, you try and fix smaller and smaller parts of yourself to try and feel better about the horrors.
Yeah, the self-help industry, I think, by and large, with maybe some notable exceptions, is a scam to make you think that you have control over the world. And you might get hit by a bus, you might get knocked over by an asteroid or like a rampaging emu. Everyone you love could die. It might go well too. The bad things in life
Another
don't
good
negate
quote for like
the
a
good
Mobtown
ones.
Live tote bag. Sorry.
All
All right, Michael, you've had your chance. I'm here
Thanks,
now.
Hachi. Yeah,
Um,
you tackle this question.
I think, and
Sage and Sage. Fucking sorry. The
well,
Bible and Hachi.
well, let me do the meta one first. I think that we should do like click and clack and have stump the chumps and bring back the people that you've given advice to and seen if it's fixed it or made their life far, far worse. Oh wait, hold on. I think Abby's here too. I gotta move everybody around. Now Abby's Sage and Sage. Okay, so I think that maybe this viewer, maybe they need to do their dishes. What do you think about that? Like, they're having a drink. They obviously drink things, you know. Maybe their kitchen. Maybe they should just stand in their kitchen for a while.
You
And you
know,
can, like, just do literally anything.
No, I
Yeah.
mean just like look inward for a little while, but not inward in that like dumb think about your emotions and yourself thing. Like look at your house. Like, oh, I've got this pile of stuff over here. Let me look through this. Or, you know, try doing something in your house that you haven't done that often. You don't have to fix the world. You can fix your small world, like your level 1 world, your level 2 world in your house.
that's some practical advice as well. Yeah. As Gail, the esteemed therapist who is my therapist and was on here a couple months ago, would say, she's listen to me and then be like, yeah, no, don't do what you feel like doing. Do what you know will make you feel good. Like, thanks, Gail. Duh. But it actually really works. Like it pops in my head and I'm like, oh, wait, I don't feel like doing anything, but these are the things that will make me feel good. But also, I think Voltaire and the Bible and all that are also very helpful.
I liked what Hachi said. I mean, honestly,
Jesus
I think
Christ,
that
sorry.
people were not designed to carry the weight of global warming in their heads. What the fuck are you going to do about that? I mean, we
Yeah.
should all get together and do. I mean, I'm not. Please, God, don't be like Michael doesn't think we should do anything about global warming. But
Well, now they will.
realistically, you are probably not the person that's going to make the difference, and we should all work for it. At the end of the day, you have to live, you know, and maybe you should do your dishes. Like,
Also,
if you had a roommate who was like, I'm not doing the dishes because of global warming, fuck them, right? Do the dishes. Make a good life for
Do
yourself.
their dishes until you win them over with kindness.
Or,
we're veering off a little bit, but I would to speak to what you're getting at, Michael. Like, if I were or let's say the times when, sorry, I don't know why Willow is standing right in front of the camera, but there's a spot, everybody.
Jeremy Tubin, get out of there.
If I were like marginalized in some way pretty intensely,
trying to tell us something.
And someone else had the opportunities that I didn't have, and then they didn't use them. And I don't mean use them to like cultivate power and dominate the world and oppress everyone. I mean, just enjoy that. Like if someone else has the opportunity to look at the sunset and they say, I shouldn't because Sarah can't look at the sunset, I'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Look at the sunset, because like, why have it go to waste? And like, it's rude to be like, I have this opportunity and I'm not going to do it. That's not relevant to your writer. Anyway, sorry.
I know, well, you know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Well, I honestly think that what we're really driving out here is the answer is Mobtown Live.
Totally, yeah.
This is talking about togetherness and human connection. I mean, this is it.
This is it.
I wish I could deeply feel what you were talking about right now, but I'm desperately trying to load this image into OBS right now.
Isn't that the constant issue? America. I wish I could feel, but I'm desperately trying something else.
Oh my gosh. It's
All
a
right.
really cute cat butt. Like, this is the cutest thing ever. You guys have to see it. It's $3.80 on meowingtons.com, I think.
All right. I think
About
that's
market
that.
rate.
You got anything else, Michael?
No, man. I just say I hope that our esteemed audience realizes that this show doesn't really end so much as peter out and
slowly fade out.
Don't hold that against us, because what do you want? We're all
like, it's basically like until one of us has to pee bad enough.
I'm literally thinking like, okay, now's the time.
Wait,
Mobtown
you don't
Live,
throw up, you don't throw it out on YouTube during a performance and just go pee with it on YouTube?
No, you don't want to be that dude, the New Yorker dude.
Oh, I don't pee here. I leave the room to pee during a performance, but I've drank a whole pot of tea while this is happening.
Oh, I drank my pot of tea in my book room. Talking about existentialism.
Wait, I'm kind of like still caught up on this writer thing. Do you think we've helped them enough?
I think if they're looking,
should we call it
public access style TV show for their help, then they are very wise. Because we need some more Sage and Sage questions. So
yeah, is everyone writing Michael every week with their problems?
I don't think anyone really is. So please feel free to send your questions to Sarah at mobtownballroom.com.
Because we know you people have a lot of problems.
And with that, why don't I make our final announcements of the other things that people can do in the next few weeks, or next week, sorry. 1, Pigtown's Got Talent. Either get ready to watch it or submit some stuff. Even though we're like 3.5 hours past the deadline, I bet that you could probably convince them. And if not, then maybe they would feel seen and like, participate. Next, best comment of this week we will announce next week, and you will get $50 in pig bucks, which you can use at local businesses in Pigtown, including the ballroom. $50 gets you pretty drunk at the ballroom, I would say. And
drunk enough.
Yeah, drunk enough, that's for sure. Also, please send to Sarah at mobtownballroom.com very short videos of your questions about the election, because next week it's going to be our spooky election episode, Halloween and the election mashed together. So we're going to have Kristen Harbison on to answer your questions about the election. And then we are also going to have Spooky Dead. And this just in, we may have a young person from those interviews that we haven't yet aired zoom in with us to talk about their experience being in like 3rd or 4th grade during the coronavirus.
And
That'll
is
be
that
hilarious.
a consolation for us yelling about dicks for the first 20 minutes?
Well, I'm sad that we did that because I didn't realize that this 8-year-old and her friends were all watching, waiting for the child's video. Yeah. So, sorry, Selah, and your mama Maya, and your grandmother Emily, and your best friend who's 8, and said, and I quote, "This is not a joke, that's 20 minutes of my life I'll never get back," is what the 8-year-old said.
I think my mom felt the same way.
So yeah, do all those things, and like and subscribe to our channel. Send us $10 if you got it and are willing. And if you have any suggestions for guests or people that you would like to see on the show, please send them our way. We're going to be taking a break over the holidays and stacking January's season with a bunch of cool stuff. So go ahead and let us know if you got any requests.
Yeah, we'll really do whatever you want. This is your show.
Yeah. And tune in next week for Spooky Election. With that,
is that it?
You got anything else?
Hell
That's
no.
it.
Cool. All right. See you next week, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
知ら